I find it's really useful to be able to deconstruct the VO2 Master so you can see what's going on. So we're based on a standard hands-root off head net and a standard hands-root off face mask. Now these quite easily clip apart, and so we've got the basic unit here by itself. VO2 Master provides you with a locking ring nut tool. That goes into the back of the system, and with just a very simple turn, that then pulls out the locking ring nut. So I'll just pop that down and show you. There's a locking ring nut with a turbine. That secures your hands-root off face mask onto your VO2 Master system. So once the face mask is off, and you notice there's an aperture in here, and I'll talk you through that in a moment. This is the different user piece, and we have 3 different size user pieces. That quite simply is just seen there, screws in, so it's ready to go, and it unscrews when we're ready to take it apart. So the 3 different user pieces that we have are and I'll try and line them up for you. We've got one which is for resting exercise, resting tests for doing resting metabolic rates with a small aperture in it. We've got one for a high volume, high flow test, and we've got one for the medium flow test. Effectively, again, depending on the size of the athlete, the size of the individual you're working with, whether you're doing a resting test, a sub-max test, or a full max test, will depend on the size of the aperture you need. With the large user piece, we can look at a ventilation rate of around about 240 litres of air per minute in and out of the lungs. So, you know, that's going to be not necessarily if you've got a 50 kilo, you know, endurance athlete in, but if you've got a huge, great big rower, for example, you're going to be using that user piece. So you'd select the user piece according to the flow rate that you think is going to be appropriate to your athlete. Within the system itself, there's a little, what could almost be described as, and it isn't, but it could almost be described as a cotton wool pad. So it's a filter pad, and it's just a very circular filter pad that goes over the aperture in the middle here. And what that does is that keeps any debris, particles, particulates out of the analyzer itself. So that is the only thing at the moment that's disposable. So once you've done your test, that gets discarded and put in the bin. And the next piece that we need to take apart from here is the battery cover comes off, and we can see that that houses and hides a AAA battery. So we have now basically deconstructed our VO2 Master, and those are all the component parts. So within the box, I've got one behind me. So it comes in storage carry box. That allows you to safely transport your unit around. You have got all the components and everything you need to undertake your first 50 tests.